Well then guys, this is the video I have been teasing about doing for the past couple of weeks. This is my transfer video. At the time of recording this, obviously no one has signed a contract or anything like that, so I'm actually going to do a couple of things regarding that, like what I would do with the contracts, what I would do without the contracts. But I've only done that for the centre-back and the right wing position because I think we're all probably on the same page by now that Trent will be on his way come the end of the year. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just kind of where I'm at with it. One other thing I want to bring to your attention as well is that I may do a future video on is the potential problem regarding the homegrown quota this summer, guys, depending on who leaves. Because as I was going through this list, I'm like, right, yeah, he might go, he might go, he might go. I was like, they're all homegrown. So there's going to be something that has to give with some of these guys. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about this video, and we're going to start off with by talking about the goalkeeping situation. So here we go with that. So as you can see from the top of this page here, this is the goalkeepers that Liverpool currently have on the books right now. They've got Harvey Davies, Jaros, whose contract expires at the end of this year, and he's also a homegrown player. Queven Kelleher, who again, homegrown player, has spoken about the fact that he does want to go and get first team football. He openly spoke about that come the end of the summer transfer window. And then Alisson, who is probably the world's best goalkeeper in my opinion, but I do think there's question marks regarding his future at the club. So let's just stick with that then, shall we? So Kelleher, I fully expect to be sold this summer, guys. He's the best backup goalkeeper in the league without a shadow of a doubt, but the fact that he wants the move and he openly spoke about it makes me think that it's going to come to an end this year, guys, unfortunately. And all the power to him as well. Like, he deserves to play first team football. He really does. And if Liverpool can get like a suitable fee for him, you know, this will be the last window where Liverpool can actually get any sort of fee for him, because this time next year his contract will be coming towards the point of expiring. So if I think Liverpool can get anything between, you know, his valuation will have gone down now significantly, 25-30 million for Kelleher. If he had more time on his contract, you could probably charge a little bit more, but being this the last chance you can possibly sell him, you're probably looking at 25-30 million for Kelleher. Alisson, I'm umming and ahhing about that one because Mamardashvili has said that Alisson was the reason why he stayed on loan at Valencia, because obviously Alisson's going to be number one. When Mamardashvili comes in during this summer, does he want to fight for a position with Alisson? Does Alisson want to fight for a position with Mamardashvili? Alisson's coming in at the end of this season off the back of 2 injury-heavy seasons. Even though he still is the best goalkeeper in the world, me personally, if Liverpool can get 60 million for Alisson, 70 million for Alisson, and then obviously you just got the 25 to 30 for Kelleher, so you're talking round about 90 to 100 million for those 2 players. I think I'd have to take it, guys, because you've already got Mamardashvili signed as your future number 1 anyway. So I probably would move on from Alisson this summer, as a hard choice that is. But when we move on to the centre-backs next, you will understand the reason why I'm taking the money for that, because we do need to sort out a few other positions as well. So yeah, guys, for me, them 2 move on. Mamardashvili comes in as your new number 1, and then in all fairness, I think you're either looking at signing Jaros on a new contract as your backup, or maybe you have to go out and sign like an experienced goalkeeper who's maybe like, I don't know, Alex McCarthy or someone like that, you know, to come in as a backup. I don't know. I'm not happy with that situation whatsoever. Like, Alisson Kelleher to Mamardashvili McCarthy is a massive downgrade in my opinion, but I just think that's what's going to happen this summer, guys. I really do. So moving on now to the centre-backs, you've obviously got Ibu Konate, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk and Kwanzaa as the current first-team centre-backs. Endo can also play centre-back as well. Konate, Gomez and Kwanzaa all play the right side of the centre-back position. Gomez can probably play the left, but he is injury-prone. And you've only got Virgil van Dijk there. what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go off the premise that Virgil doesn't sign a new contract with Liverpool. So you're left with just Konate, Gomez and Kwanzaa going into the summer transfer window. So you need to get at least, for me, if that happens, Liverpool need to sign 3 centre-backs this summer. Because I think Joe Gomez will potentially move on as well this summer, guys. So you need 3 centre-backs to come in. So the ones that I have got listed here for that situation, number 1 is Mark Guéhi. Now, he would come in and he would help with the homegrown quota, what I've already spoke about. His contract expires in 2026 as well, so you'd be able to get him at a cheaper rate. He's 24 years of age. This season, he's made 30 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists, and he's played 2,700 minutes for Crystal Palace. The one thing you've got to bear in mind is that Chelsea do have a 20% sell-on clause, and they are also rumoured to be interested in bringing him back to their club, basically. But he would be the first one I would bring in, and he would go over on the right-hand side. Well, yeah, I'd play him out on the right-hand side and compete with Konate. No, I tell a lie, I changed my mind. I've got a right to change my mind. I am changing my mind. I would put Guéhi over on the left if Virgil van Dijk does leave. And then the next player I would bring in to help compete with Konate for a starting block over on the right is Ousmane Diomande from Sporting Lisbon. Now, this guy's contract doesn't expire till 2027, so he will be like charged at, you know, top market rate. He is made 32 appearances this year with 1 goal and played 2,522 minutes. In my opinion, Diomande is one of the best centre-backs up and coming in the world right now. I just really do think that he could be someone that Liverpool do look at. He's young. He's a highly rated centre-back with a lot of potential. He's strong and athletic and comfortable on the ball. And it's all qualities that we will need for that type of centre-back role, especially with Virgil van Dijk moving on. His physicality and ability to play the ball out from the back also, because normally Sporting obviously play in a 3, would make him a good fit for Arne Slot's system. He's strong in the air and good in tackles and has excellent positioning also. And as I just mentioned, well, he's got really good ball playing ability. The thing is though, he would cost a significant amount. I don't think he has a release clause in his contract as of right now. So you probably would be looking at round about a fee, I'd say, of like north of 60 million for Diomande to come in to join Liverpool this summer, guys. And I didn't even give you a price for Mark Guéhi, but Mark Guéhi's current market value is at around 45 million euros. You're probably looking at about 50 for him as well. The last summer it was quoted at about 70, but with this being the last window for him to be able to move on and get any sort of fee for him, you're probably looking at, like I say, about 50 for him. So 110 million is going to be needed to sign these 2 centre-backs, which is why I mentioned that I probably would move on and sell Alisson and Kelleher in that situation. Now, in the other situation, let's say, for instance, that, you know, well, actually, I've actually got one other mid defender that I would also potentially look at also. Like, if you can't get Guéhi to come in, the other player I would look at to bring in and play over on that left-hand side in centre-back is Hikape over at Bayer Leverkusen. He is a versatile defender who can also play at left back. He's quick, strong, and very good in the air. And as I just mentioned, he can cover multiple positions. I'll just load up his profile for you now, guys. So you go. His contract doesn't expire till 2029 though. He just signed a contract extension December just gone. But as I say, he's left-footed. He can cover left back also if need be. He's got a market value of 40 million, but I would reckon you're probably looking at about 60 in all fairness for that. So far this year, he's made 32 appearances with 2 goals, 1 assist, and 2,694 minutes for Bayern Leverkusen. So he is someone I would potentially add into a potential replacement for Virgil van Dijk. Moving on to the players that if Virgil van Dijk decides to sign a contract and Liverpool stop messing about with him, I think I'd still look at bringing in either a Guéhi or a Diomande to help compete with Konate in that position over there, because, you know, obviously Konate picks up injuries. Kwanzaa in my opinion, need some sort of loan potentially to go out there and gain some first team football, a lot more than what he's potentially getting right now. So yeah, I would still look at getting Mark Gahey or Diamande to come in to help with that position. And there's also the question mark around Kanate as well, guys. He's going into the final year of his contract now. If he doesn't sign anything, he could leave for a free next year. Do you know what I mean? So if Liverpool do decide to keep Virgil van Dijk and stop fucking about and just give him a deal, you need to bring in somebody who could be the long-term replacement for Virgil van Dijk. And I've got 2 players lined up here who I'd think just absolutely, I'd just nail it on the head for their long-term replacement. And the first one of these is Dean Huijsen, if that's how you pronounce his name, who plays currently for Bournemouth. He's just joined Bournemouth this year. His contract doesn't expire till 2030, so he would have a high market value, shall we say. But we've got that link there, obviously, with what's he called? Richard Hughes. Forgot his name. But we don't really do much, do they? With Richard Hughes, he's made 22 appearances with 2 goals, and he's played 1,600 minutes. I just think he's a really good player. I think he's shown that he can do a lot with what he's got right now. He's only 19 years of age as well, so he would be able to come in and play under Virgil van Dijk and learn from him and get even better over time. And then another one as well that I'd potentially look at also. Actually, have I got anything else on this Houston? I'm sure there was yeah, so he's young, he's got a very high ceiling, he's attracting interest from top clubs across Europe anyway, and he would be a good fit for the Arne Slot system, as he can use both feet and play the ball out from the back also. And then lastly, the last young defender I would look at as well is Joel Hatto. Now, he was invited to Liverpool by Ryan Gravenberch to a game recently this year. They said obviously there's nothing in that, it was just an invite, so that's why it happened. Again, he's a left-footed defender who can also cover at left back. Currently plays for Ajax. Contract doesn't expire till 2028 though, so again you're probably looking at about 30-40 million for him. And so far this year he's played 35 games, 3 goals, 7 assists, 2,939 minutes, so he has a lot of first team football, you know, experience, and he's only 18 years of age, guys. So again, he is another player I would potentially be looking at. And then just to compare all those players' stats for you right now, guys, I've got this here for you loaded up. So as you can see, you've got passes, the forward passes and everything, like all the percentiles are here. The blue is Diamande, the orange, a yellow color is Huijsen, green is Mbappe, and Gahey is the red. Now, as you can see from these, Diamande is so much better than the rest of them in the air, passing wise and forward passes. He's a hell of a lot better player than the rest of them. Huijsen is a lot better in duels, carrying the ball, defensive actions and progressive passes. And well, he's pretty much the same as Mbappe for that. The only player I don't have on here is Hotte. I can't pronounce his name. Hotte. I can't pronounce his name now. You know what I'm about, the Ajax kid. I don't have him on here because it won't show me his stats for this year so far. But yeah, you know, Mbappé's played the most, second most minutes behind Gahey. Diamande behind him, and Huijsen has got the least minutes so far this year. But as you can, they're all different types of defenders, and it really does depend on what Arne Slot wants from one of these players to come in. But I would be happy with Diamande or Gahey to come in and help with the right hand side. You're probably going to need 2 of the 3 of them if Virgil van Dijk does leave, and then if Virgil does stay, you have to bring in Huijsen or Hatto to become his long-term replacement, in my opinion, guys. So that is that for the centre backs. So with the right back situation and the full backs in general, I fully expect Trent Alexander-Arnold to move on this summer. I just do. It's one of those things that I think we should just all come to understand is probably going to happen. You've got a ready-made replacement, in my opinion, in Connor Bradley. I don't think with everything else Liverpool need to do this summer, we would have the money to go out there and bring in another right back. Say, like, my ideal replacement for Trent would probably be someone like Jeremy Frimpong, someone like that. But I don't think Liverpool would have the money this summer to do that. So you've got 2 choices. You either keep Joe Gomez and he can cover centre back and right back, Or if you do decide to move on from Joe Gomez, you keep Calvin Ramsey to be the backup for Conor Bradley, and then you've got your right back sorted. Now, left back is a completely and utterly different story, in my opinion, guys. And I've got 3 players lined up who could come in as a left back for Liverpool this summer. Now, the ones that we've been linked with quite heavily is obviously Milos Kerkez and Ryan Altanore over at Wolves. But I've also got another one in there as well, who I think could be pretty much a very, very good fit for Liverpool also. Now, here we go, guys. I'm going to just share this with you now. We'll start off with Milos Kerkez. Now, he obviously plays for Bournemouth. He was signed by Richard Hughes before he came over to Liverpool. His contract doesn't expire till 2028, however, so again, it would be a big transfer. 50 million probably to bring him in, 28 million for market value. He's played 27 games this season with 2 goals, 3 assists, 2,284 minutes played. I think as of right now, he probably would be my number 1 just due to Premier League experience. And it goes without saying, guys, I'm probably moving on from either Andy Robertson or Shimmercast this year. Robbo's going into the last year of his deal. So do you keep hold of Robbo for another season and bring another one that's going to become the first teamer and Robbo acts as your backup, and then you just sell Shimmercast? Or do you sell Robbo when you can still get a bit of money for him, and then Shimmercast is still the backup to whoever you bring in? I don't know which one I'd do. I'd probably lean more towards the selling of Shimmercast, and then you got Robbo as like a backup altogether. And I think he probably would see out his deal at Liverpool, or he may even take an extension, you know, depending on how things go. So Kerkez is the first centre-back that I would potentially look at for Liverpool. The next one is one that we played against yesterday, is Ryan Altanore of Wolves. He is represented by Chesterfield, which is an agency that Liverpool have a huge thing with. Like, they've signed players from there. We've got current players that are represented by them. Again, his contract expires in 2026, but it's got an option for a further year, so let's just say it's 2 years basically he's still got left there at Wolves. They're saying his market value is 35. I'm probably looking at like 40 for him as a minimum. Very attacking midfield, defense, centre back, left back. 27 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, and he's played 2,213 minutes. I mean, again, he's probably not my number 1. Kerkez would be above him, but yeah, he's there defo for me as someone that Liverpool should be looking at. I mean, just to give you a bit of background, so you got Kerkez, who's got the Premier League experience, is capable, energetic, young, got a lot of potential. Altanore, he's versatile. He can play left back, he can even play further forward. He's got good dribbling and he's a threat going forward. I think both of them really are, to be fair, in all fairness, really good at getting down that win and putting the ball in and even scoring goals. I think Kerkez scored against Man United, if I'm not wrong, in that one. So yeah, you've got, as I say, you've got Altanore, and again, just to load up his agency, is Chesterfield, and there's players there that Liverpool have been linked with and have had on the books already. They've got Diogo Jota on there, Neto linked with Liverpool, you've got Ugarte linked with Liverpool, Mateus Nunes that was linked with Liverpool. I'm sure there was another Liverpool player or ex-Liverpool player that was represented by them. Let's have a quick look. I think it was Fabinho. Let's have a look. Yeah, Fabinho is obviously represented by them as well. So yeah, we've got a working relationship with Chesterfield, so he may be the one that's more likely. But yeah, Kerkez is still my number 1. And then just to throw another name in there, guys, who Liverpool could potentially look at, and it's outside the Premier League, is Miguel Gutierrez, if that's how you pronounce his name, who plays for Genoa. His contract expires in 2027, so he's got 2 years left. Market value of 25 million euros, so probably about 30 mil. Can play left back and left mid. Also represented by Wasserman, which is an agency Liverpool have got players on their books as well, so there's an already existing relationship there. He's played 28 games with 2 goals and 5 assists and played 2,365 minutes in total this year. Again, he is a young attacking-minded left-back. He's got a release clause, which is around about, I can't remember, I'll have to have a look for what that is. He's impressed at the club that he's currently at, and he would be a very good fit for the Arne Slot system. Let me just have a look, see what his release clause is. I probably should have done that already, but yeah, he's got a release clause, I'm sure he has. And I don't know what that looks like. 35 million euros is his release clause, so what's that, 30 million pounds. So he probably would come in at one as like the most budget one out of the three, but again, he's good at going forward just like the other two. The only thing he doesn't have is the Premier League experience. And just one last thing to touch on, I said that there's Curtis Jones are on the book of Wasserman, where Liverpool have got, you know, they've got a good relationship with them over there. You know, I think Anthony Gordon's over there as well, if I remember correctly. I thought he was anyway. Maybe I'm wrong in that one. But there's a few players here that I can see. Oh, Joe Gomez is on their books as well. Anthony Robinson, we've been linked with him in the past. Gertrude, we were linked with him, obviously, when we got Arne Slot as manager. Harvey Barnes has been linked to us in the past. There's stuff here that goes back a fair distance. Daniel Marlin, but I won't bore you with the rest of it. And then just to show you just to show you how close these three are as a comparison to each other regarding like the stat map. Here you go, guys. As you can see, like, so the blue is Kerekes, the pinky red is Altonore, and the green is Miguel Gutierrez. Now, as you can see, Altonore is best at carrying. Just below that is Kerekes. Kerekes is better at dueling and being in the air and defensive actions and progressive passes. Not as good at assists, but not too far behind Gutierrez, who's the top for assists and crosses. So again, it's a good mixture. They're all pretty much the same as well at the same time. So I would be happy with either one of these. Kerekes obviously being the younger by 2 years, so he's got probably the highest ceiling out of all three of them, sorry. And he's also played the most minutes so far this year as well. So something to bear in mind regarding the fullbacks. I mean, if you're moving on from Robbo or Shimikas or whoever, I probably would bring in Kerekes as my replacement for them, which goes without saying. So that's that bit for the fullbacks, guys. Now the midfield could be an area where Liverpool could throw up a few things as well in there that people aren't expecting. This is probably the first time some of you may have heard of this, but I think I've mentioned it a couple of times on the live streams as well. But Alexis McAllister is a player that I don't know why, and I can't put my finger on it, but I just get this feeling that he won't be around as long as we expect him to be. I think Szoboszlai could be here for a fair bit of time, I really do. But Alexis McAllister, I don't know, I just think he's got Real Madrid written all over him, guys, and I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm not saying that he for 100% moves on this summer, but if he did move on this summer, I would not be surprised. And I don't know why I've got that feeling. I've had it for a couple of weeks now. AKM, maybe. I don't know. But I've just got this feeling that Alexis McAllister, I wouldn't be surprised if he moved on. But I'm not going to go with that right now. I'm literally going to stick with what we know and what we've got. So here we go with this. So here we go with these. As you can see here, we've got Ryan Gravenberch, Wataru Endo, Tyler Morton, Alexis McAllister, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, and Harvey Elliott that kind of all play in the central midfield. Now, looking at this straight away, I think we can all kind of agree that Endo may not be here next year, probably won't be. Doesn't seem to fit in well with the Arne Slot system. Slot doesn't seem to trust him, even though over the past, like yesterday, for instance, against Wolves, he obviously came on and made a big impact, but long term, I don't think he's got a lot of time here. Tyler Morton has obviously openly spoken in January about wanting to move on and then progress and make himself better. Again, that's another homegrown player we could be losing as well in regards to all that scenario. Which leaves you then with Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones and Elliott. Now, I think it goes without saying that we all understand that Liverpool need to bring in somebody to back up Ryan Gravenberch and give him some competition, because the guy cannot play every minute of every game, and especially if you're moving on from Endo and Tyler Morton, you need somebody to come in to make up the bodies. Now, I've got 3 players lined up for you, and it could be anyone, and I'm focusing in literally just on the DM position. The last one is someone who can play DM, but I could also see him coming in if the McAllister thing was to happen, which again I don't want to happen. Just putting out there, but I just got this feeling. So anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So first and foremost, the first player is Alan Varela. Now, he is a player that I mentioned back last summer, and I had him rated higher than Zubamendi, who Liverpool obviously went to go try and sign. He has been mentioned again with us recently. He plays over in Porto. Contract expires in 2028. He's 23 years of age. Again, defensive midfielder or essential midfielder. They're saying that his market value is at 35 million, but I think obviously you'd be looking at somewhere north of that again, 50 odd million for him in all fairness. He's played 32 games this year with 3 assists and 2,185 minutes. This guy, for me, would be the key person I would bring in to provide competition for Ryan Gravenberch. I almost said Alexis McAllister then, for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, he is the guy I've got my eye on this summer. If you can't get him, you could always go with someone else. Similar age profile. Different type of league though, represented by the same agency though, and I'm talking about Stiller over at Stuttgart. Now again, 23 years of age, contract expires in the same year, 2028. He's literally just signed the contract extension, so maybe this is not one that's going to be on the books, but covers similar positions, similar market value. 35 games, 2 goals, 6 assists, and more minutes than Alan Varela at 2,951. This kid, for me, is up there with some of the best young midfielders in the world, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's 100% on the list. I mean, Liverpool just need to bring in some bodies, in all fairness, for this position. You need somebody that can come in, do a job, back up Alexis McAllister and also Ryan Gravenberch if McAllister does end up staying. But at the same time as well, you need someone who can manage the ball a lot as well. So Stiller is a player who attracts a lot of attention. He's got passing prowess. He's known for his excellent passing range and accuracy. He can dictate play from deep midfield and pick out teammates with long balls, which is something that the likes of Salah and stuff like that, they strive upon that. And he can thread passes through tight spaces also, which aside, like Liverpool, obviously we rely on quick transitions and creative build-up. That would suit us down to a T. His defensive contribution, his main strength is passing, and he's also capable of being defensive really well as good. He's got the intelligence to put his position where he needs to be, and he can make interceptions and then contributes to winning the ball back as well. So he's not much of a person that runs around and tackles. He's more of like a Fabinho who, do you remember when Fabinho came in and he was known as like the lighthouse, as someone who just read the game so well that he was there straight away? Still is in a very similar mold to that. And still being at 23 years of age, he's young enough and still has a lot of room to develop as well. So he could be at Liverpool for a long time, in all fairness. So yeah, I think he's 100% one of the players that I would look at. The only thing for me is he wouldn't come cheap, especially after signing that new contract. So maybe you'd be looking at somebody else in this position if money's tight. But Stiller for me is one of those that I would 100% be looking at as someone who can come in for Liverpool. Alan Varela as well, didn't really talk about this, but again, he excels at breaking up play, winning tackles, intercepting passes, and it's something that we could rely on. Again, he's got the passing range as well, but he is still a bit of a destroyer, more so than Stiller. And again, he's 23 years of age, so he would have the time as well to get even better. And he's already got Champions League experience also, so he can handle the high pressure situations. Again, though, Porto would demand a high transfer fee for him. So I guess if you're looking to bring somebody in as like a backup, are you willing to go out there and spend that type of money? But for someone to come in and back up Ryan Gravenberch, they're the ones I'm looking at 100%. Now, this other player is someone that Arne Slot is aware of and has a history with him, right? So in the potential chance that Alexis McAllister's moved on, I would be looking at Quinton Timber to come in as his replacement. He's 23 years of age, obviously appears at Feyenoord. His contract expires in 2026, so again, this summer coming up is the last time they can sell him and get some decent wanga for him. He can play all three positions, pretty much very similar to Alexis McAllister. Market value around 32 million euros, but I reckon you'd be looking at something more than that. As you can see here, he's already injured, so he'd fit in well at Liverpool. He's the twin brother of Jurrien Timber, who plays for Arsenal as well, guys, just in case you didn't know that. And he's made 26 appearances this year, 6 goals, 2 assists, and 2,054 minutes. So yeah, he is the person I would be looking at to replace Alexis McAllister if we did decide to move on from him. I mean, he's a versatile midfielder. He's box to box, very similar to Alexis McAllister. He's known for his energy and tackling and ability to carry the ball forward. And he would very much fit into the high press that Slot puts into his team. You know, he's played under Arne Slot at Feyenoord as well. It means that, you know, Timber would be familiar with the tactics and what's expected of him. You know, some managers, when they generally come in, they like to bring in a player with them who can help teach the player that they want to do. So could this be it? You know, he's a tireless runner with a good work rate, strong tackler, good at breaking up play. I think he's the captain as well of Feyenoord as well right now. So maybe that does come with the added value. But again, with his contract expiring, guys, this is the player that Liverpool probably can't, you know, miss out on, in all fairness. So yeah, he is a player that I would be also looking at. I'll just show you the stat sheet just so you've got it here so you can see how they compare. So Stiller's in the blue, and as you can see, he pretty much dominates all of them. Timber's the green, and he seems to be, you know, a lot more of the key passes, forward runs, and the duels and the carrying the ball a lot more than the other ones. And Alan Varela, again, is pretty much, he's an all-rounder as well, in all fairness, with everything else, pretty much very similar to Stiller. So again, just like the fullbacks, I would be happy with either one of these three if they came in this summer. But I'm sure there's other midfields out there as well, guys, that you guys are aware of. But for me, this is the three that I am looking at to come in all fairness, this summer. So now we've done the keepers, centre-backs, full-backs, and the midfield. Let's have a look at the forward line now, guys. So before we go any further, obviously I need to talk about the contract situation. So obviously we know Salah's not signed yet. So I'll do the alternative for him. Well, the replacement for him, shall we say, if there is one in world football, which I don't think there is. So I'll cover that bit as well before I get into the rest of it. But I also wanted to mention as well, the number 9 position is very, very key this year. And this way it all ties into like how much money Liverpool could spend this year. And it all ties into the selling of Alisson, the selling of Kelleher, Gomez, Robbo, Shimikas, whatever. Alexis McAllister, maybe, as we spoke about in the midfield section as well. I'm probably looking at moving on from maybe at least 2 forwards, potentially 4. If you look at it the correct way. So, well, 5 if Salah ends up going, in all fairness. So let's just do the Salah one first, shall we? So get it over and done with. So for me, there is not a player in world football that can come in and do what Salah's going to do. But you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to sign someone young, who's got potential, who can learn, and maybe could become the next Mo Salah. Like, who would have thought when we signed Mo Salah from Rome that he would become the player he would? So there's not that many right wingers out there as well that are left-footed. So the one player for me that I've kind of gone for, guys, is Kubo. So I've gone for Kubo over at Real Sociedad. Again, he's 23 years of age. He is a right winger who's left-footed. His contract doesn't expire till 2029, so he will come with a big fee, which we won't get for losing Salah for nothing. He's also like, look at all this right here. Like, there's all this extra information here. So, you know, he's got a 60 million release clause. He's played 34 games this year, 6 goals, 3 assists, 2,178 minutes. I mean, I would probably look at bringing him in even if Mo Salah stays, because you need to start sorting out his long-term successor. Maybe that's someone who comes in next summer, not this one coming, but the one after. But I just think there's not that many right-wing, left-footed attacking players out there that Liverpool could realistically sign. And I think he probably is the best one of them all. I mean, I've got his stat page, but it's kind of linked with another player that's going to come in just the way the data maps are set up. I couldn't put him with the other group, so I'll keep hold of that. So let me know what you think. Like Kubo as a replacement, for a successor to Salah. Let me know what you think about that. Now, if Salah stays, and yeah, so this is the next scenario. Salah stays. I still think we need to sort out that forward line. Luis Diaz is umming and ahhing about a contract extension. He was linked with Barcelona last year. I could see him moving on to Barca. 60, 70 million for Luis Diaz. I'd take that straight away. Gakpo's got down that left wing position nailed down straight up anyway. So yeah, I would sell Luis Diaz this summer. I think it goes without saying that Darwin Núñez's time at Liverpool is up. He was linked heavily with the Saudi League during January. I don't believe that Liverpool rejected 70 million for him during January. But if they can get that again, I'd snap the finger off and I'd let him go again. So that's 130 million you've got there for them two players. And then reluctantly, I would probably look at trying to let go of Diogo Jota as well. Just down to the fact he's very injury prone. He's probably Liverpool's best finisher by by Mo Salah. But again, he's injury prone. So you need that availability there, which unfortunately he just does not have right now. So again, if you can get 20, 30 million for Diogo Jota, which is on the low side, but again, injury record, you've got to take that into consideration. Who's going to come in and pay 50, 60 million for Diogo Jota when he ain't guaranteed to play 20, 30 games a season? So if you can get 20 to 30 million for Diogo Jota, I'd snap your hand off at that as well, to be fair. And then I do have a question mark around Federico Chiesa. He's been a bit of a no-show this year. He plays one game and he goes missing for 3 games. I know he's on the bench against Wolves, but he didn't come on. I think, again, if the right offer comes in, I think I'd sell him. So then that only leaves you, if Salah stays, you've got Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah is your forward line that's still there with any consistency. So maybe I'd keep Chiesa, I don't know. But I do have 4 players lined up on who I would look to bring in for Liverpool from the forward line. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to share the first one with you. So the first one is a free transfer. I think he may go to Barcelona. I don't know. That all depends if they can get Luis Diaz. If they don't get Luis Diaz, I reckon they'll go for this lad. But if I could sign anybody for the forward line this year, it'd be this guy, Jonathan David from Lille. He's available on a free transfer, guys, so you won't have to pay any money for him. He's 25 years of age. As I say, his contract expires at the end of this season. He can play as the main striker or the second striker. He's played 35 games this year with 20 goals, 9 assists, 2,830 minutes. So he's got the availability there as well. Also, I mean, this kid, for me, has pretty much got it all, in all fairness. On a free transfer as well, you can't knock it. You just can't knock him coming in, guys, as a Liverpool striker. I mean, he played decent against us when we played Lille in the Champions League, in my opinion, anyway. Next up for me, I've got Matheus Cunha. He's got a transfer release clause of 65 million. So, again, he's been linked with Liverpool on and off. If you can bring in Jonathan David and Matheus Cunha for 65 million, because obviously David is a free transfer, I think that's a bargain. Someone in the chat mentioned it the other day. I think it may have been Russell. He mentioned these 2 players, and I was like, yeah, 100%. Both 25 years of age. Obviously, Cunha this year, his contract doesn't expire till 2029 because he's just signed it, but obviously he's got that release clause in there, so they can't really do anything about it. 26 games this year, 13 goals, 4 assists, 2,077 minutes. So they've both got the availability. They both can score goals. and they're both in like weaker teams as well. So I tell you what, if you're telling me that I could swap Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota for them two, I'm all over it, guys. I really, really am. Now, I know everyone's looking at Alexander Isak, and so am I, guys. If Liverpool can pull this one off, I don't think there's anyone better you could get for the forward line to go down the middle. Jonathan David and Cunha can play either side of, you know, an Alexander Isak. But yeah, I mean, for me, he's got 29 games, 19 goals, 5 assists, 2,280 minutes. He is potentially injury prone, I've seen doing the rounds, or who was in the past. But there isn't that many out and out strikers anymore. We'd obviously have to compete with Arsenal for this lad's signature, and probably a ton of other player teams as well around Europe. But he is the top of a few people's list. He's the same age as the other two players as well. So he's just, all three of them are just coming into their prime. So again, it's someone that you probably look at. I think he's probably on the most of the unlikely one though. But again, if Liverpool could go out and get another out and out striker, similar age profile, and again, whose contract is on his way out, you could do no better than also look at Dusan Vlahovic at Juve, guys. Again, 25 years of age, contract expires at the end of next season, so this is the summer where they could get the last bit of money for him. His market value is at 60 million. He's got a 70 million transfer fee when they signed him from, you know, Florence. 29 games this year, 13 goals, 2 assists, 2,030 minutes. So again, he's got the availability, unlike Diogo Jota. The last two players I've just spoke about, Isak and Vlahovic, are very much number 9 central. I would be happy with any of these 4 players, guys. I really would. I just want to show you like the data maps as well of, I'm going to show you this one first, because this one ties into Cunha and Kubo, because apparently according to this data map, Cunha is classed as a forward who can play anywhere across the 3, so I couldn't put him with the other ones. But as you can see there, Cunha's blue. He's pretty much an all-round player, guys, this season. Unreal numbers regarding his stats. And as you can see there from Kubo, he carries the ball, he dribbles with it, he's very attacking, key passes. Doesn't really do much in the way of assists, but he does have, you know, good XG and XA at the same time. But again, Cunha all round here. Such a great player who I think would work wonders for Liverpool. And then just to compare the other 3, you've got Jonathan David in the blue, Isak in the pink, and Vlahovic in the green. You know, as you look here at the XG, all 3 of them are really close together, so you can't do wrong there. But again, Isak looks like to be the most all-round out of the 3 of them. Vlahovic is more of a, you know, I will get you the goals, Haaland type of player, where again, as Jonathan David is pretty much an all-rounder, very similar to Isak also, guys. And that, guys, brings me to the end of the video. So for me, if I could sum this video up for you, I know this has been a long video, and I know I've chatted probably a lot of shit in this video, but if I could sum this video up for you, Liverpool are in for a very, very busy window, in my opinion. Homegrown quote of the lot. I think we need at least 2 centre-backs, potentially 3 if Virgil goes, at least 1 midfielder, and then either 2 or 3 forwards as well, which is a lot of money, which is why I look at sell Alisson and Kelleher, which brings in over 100 there. If you sell Núñez, Jota and Diaz, that's another over 100 million there. And then if you do end up moving on from a Shimikas or a Robbo, you're probably looking at bringing in somewhere around the region of 250 million. And then you could also look at, obviously, Liverpool also have money to add to that also. So Liverpool could look at a brand new team next year, guys, in all fairness. So yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think about this video, guys, down below in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing the editing and everything else that came with this. So let me know down below your thoughts on all this, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.